Hello students, welcome to the Karnataka State DCE LMS e-learning platform. In today's session, let us learn about immunoassays. An immunoassay is a biochemical test that measures the presence or concentration of a molecule in a solution through use of antibody or antigen. So to understand this whole concept of immunoassay, it is equally important to understand the concept of antigen and antibody. So let us now learn a little about the basics of immunology to understand this better. So in order to understand immunoassay, we need to understand two concepts. The one is antigen, the other one is antibody. So what is antigen? Any molecule that can elicit an immune response or which can produce antibodies against that particular molecule is known as an antigen. So antigen stands for antibody generator. So therefore in short it is known as antigen. Suppose there is a pathogen. It could be a bacteria, it could be a virus, it could be a fungal spore, it could be a parasite. So on the surface of this pathogen, we find the antigens. These, if at all, they enter the body either wholly or just the surface protein of it. Say for example, the virus. It is not necessary that the whole virus has to enter the body in order to generate an immune response. Even if the surface protein can enter the body, it can still elicit an immune response. So therefore, this is that antigen which can lead to the generation of antibodies. So suppose this virus or the pathogen has entered into the body. Now what happens is these B lymphocytes, they generate antibodies that are specific to that particular antigen. So they go and bind to the antigen. So in this way, the antigen is being bound by the antibody, and thereby the antibody can nullify the effect of this antigen or the pathogen. Now we know that the antigen goes and binds to the particular antibody. Let me be more specific. For every antigen there is a specific antibody. So that specific antibody goes and binds to that particular specific antigen itself. It is highly specific in nature. It goes and binds only to the antigen of its specificity. Now how do we confirm that this antigen is bound to the antibody? We make use of something known as label. That is, the antibodies are made to tag to these labels. These labels could be a radio label which can emit radiation, or it could be a fluorescent label which can fluoresce. It can be a chemiluminescent label which emits light, or it could be an enzyme. Now let us understand with one example. So I am taking enzyme as a label. I just give one example of HRP. HRP stands for horseradish peroxidase. So what this enzyme does is, there is a substrate, and upon the action of enzyme produces product. So if at all if the antibody is tagged to this HRP, upon adding substrate in the titer well, it gets changed to product. How do we detect this? Is basically by the change in color. Usually the substrate on addition will be yellow, and upon the formation of product turns into blue. So if at all in the titer well, from yellow the color is changing to blue, then we can say that the enzyme has worked. When will the enzyme work? When the enzyme that is linked to the antibody is getting bound to the antigen, only then it works. So how do we confirm the presence of this antigen antibody binding? Is by the color change. So if the color is getting changed, which means the enzyme is working, which means the enzyme tagged to the antibody has got bound to the antigen. So in this way we conclude that the assay is positive, or it is yielding positive result. That is, the molecule which we are looking for is present in the sample. So this forms the basis of immunoassay. So the principle behind immunoassay is the antigen antibody binding that is linked to a label. What is the role of label? This label helps detection of this antigen antibody binding. I hope now it is clear. So now let us again understand the definition. An immunoassay is a biochemical test that measures the presence or concentration of a molecule in a solution through the use of an antibody or antigen. In most cases we use antibody, and in some cases we also use antigen. So the molecule that is detected by the immunoassay is often referred to as an analyte. Here in the image you can see the analyte. So here the antigen is used as an analyte on which the antibody is bound, which is linked to a detectable label. So that is what is known as analyte. So that which is used in the immunoassay, or the molecule that is used to detect in the immunoassay, is what is known as analyte. And in most cases it is a protein, although it can be other kinds of molecules also, not necessarily proteins, but mostly we make use of proteins. But in order to make use of it, we have to ensure that proper antibodies are developed, or required properties for the assay is already developed, so that it goes and binds. So if there is no specific antibody for that particular analyte, an assay cannot be performed. So only if the required antibodies are raised against that particular analyte, only then it can be used for immunoassay. And analytes in biological liquids such as serum or urine are frequently measured using immunoassays for medical and research purposes. So here in the image you can see a titer well which is used for immunoassays. So immunoassays are not done in any test tubes or in any petri dishes, rather they are done in micro titer wells. So that is how it looks like. And in the next picture image you can see a pathogen and an antibody. So this pathogen can be a bacteria, it can be a virus, it can be a bacterial spore also. So on top of which there are antigens. So they are the epitopes which can elicit immune response in the body. So once it is eliciting immune response, the respective antibodies come and bind to that particular antigen. And in the image below you can see how a typical antibody looks like. So antibody, as you know, it has a heavy chain, it is a small chain, it has two arms, and in that arm we have the antigen binding site also. And here you can see the analyte that is red in color, and the antibody which is blue in color, and this antibody is linked to a label which is yellow in color. So once the binding happens, then the label starts emitting light, which is indicative of the antigen antibody binding. So Rosalind Sussman-Yalow and Solomon Berson, they were the ones who first developed immunoassays in the 1950s. And Yalow, this lady, she's an American woman, so she won a Nobel Prize in 1977 for her work in immunoassay. Though Solomon Berson was involved in developing immunoassay, he did not receive a Nobel Prize. It was only Yalow who received a Nobel Prize. So immunoassays have become considerably simpler to perform, and they are more popular when techniques for chemically linked enzymes to antibodies were demonstrated in the late 1960s. Immunoassays come in different formats and variations. Immunoassays may be run in multiple steps, with reagents being added and washed away or separated at different points in the assay. So there are different types of immunoassays. The major ones are radioimmunoassay, where we are using a radioactive isotope for binding with the antibody. Then we have the very famous ELISA, that is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, which is also known as enzyme immunoassay, which is most prevalently used for detection of HIV. And we have fluoroimmunoassays, where we use fluorescent probes for detecting the antigen antibody binding. And we have chemiluminescence immunoassay, where we are using chemical substances which illuminate for detection of antigen and antibody binding. Moving on to the principle of immunoassays. Immunoassays rely on the ability of an antibody to recognize and bind a specific macromolecule in what might be a complex mixture of macromolecules. In immunology, the particular macromolecule bound by an antibody is referred to as an antigen, and the area on the antigen which the antibody binds is called as an epitope. So if you are speaking of a bacteria, this whole bacteria can elicit an immune response. So this bacteria is known as an antigen, and that region on this bacteria where the antibody comes and binds is known as epitope. So in some cases, an immune assay may be used as an antigen, may use an antigen for detecting the presence of antibodies which recognize that antigen in solution. In other words, in some immunoassays, the unlike may be an antibody or it can be an antigen also. Here you can see that this is the antigen and this is the epitope region where the antibody is binding, and we have the antibody which is bound to the epitope, which is linked to a fluorescent molecule. Now, in addition to the binding of an antibody to its antigen, the other key feature of all immunoassays is a means to produce a measurable signal in response to the binding. No matter where the antigen is, antibodies, they go and bind, but this binding is not always detected. So we have to ensure the detection of this antigen antibody binding, for which we need a measurable signal. So most, if not all, immunoassays, they involve chemically linking antibodies or antigens with some kind of a detectable label. So this label can be a radio label, it can be a fluorescent label, it can be a chemiluminescent label, or it can be an enzyme label. Say for example, enzyme, I told you the use of horseradish peroxidase. It's an enzyme which is linked to the antibody. Now, a large number of labels exist in modern immunoassays, and they allow the detection through different means, either by producing a radiation in case of a radio label, either by producing fluorescent in case of a fluorescent label, and in case of an enzyme, it turns the product into, or the substrate into product. So by assessing the product form, we can say that the enzyme has worked. In order for the enzyme to work, the antibody must have gone and bound to the antigen. So in that way also we are able to measure. So many labels are detectable because they either emit radiation, or they produce a color change in a solution, or they fluoresce under light, or can be induced to emit light. Here, to briefly mention the principle behind the immunoassay, we know that the titer well, where we are performing the experiment, the surface of the titer well is bound to an antigen which we are measuring. So once this antigen is bound to the surface, we use the antibodies that are linked to enzyme. Here I am speaking of an enzyme immunoassay where we are making use of enzyme. So the antibody is tagged to enzyme. So here you can see whatever is the Y shape, it is the enzyme, and it is linked to the enzyme which is purple in color. So once the binding happens, the moment you add the product, the enzyme starts working, the moment you add the substrate, the enzyme starts working and converts it into the product. So here you can very clearly see the substrate is yellow in color and the final product is blue in color. So the moment you see the blue color in that particular titer well, you can say that the antigen and antibody are bound to each other. So therefore the enzyme has worked to convert the substrate into the product. Because of the color change, you can say that they are already bound. So this is indicative of a positive immunoassay or with the positive results. Here, to explain enzyme immunoassay, I have taken the classic example of HIV. Suppose the person has got infected with HIV virus. Then in his body, we also find antibodies against that particular viral antigen. So here, the person's antibodies are extracted and it is linked to a enzyme. So therefore, it is called as enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, or it is also known as enzyme immunoassay. So the moment the antibody is linked to the enzyme, mostly a horseradish peroxidase, what happens is in the titer well, we are already aware of the HIV virus. So the antigens are made to sit on the surface of the titer well, and from the person's body, we are extracting the antibodies and we are linking it to the enzyme, and this antibody is added into the titer well, so that the antigen, if at all if the antibody is, if at all, produced against the HIV antigen, has to go and bind, and this binding is obviously confirmed by the action of enzyme, where the substrate is converted into product and is visualized through the color change. So in that way, if the color is changing, we can say that the person is HIV positive. If at all, despite of adding antigen, despite of adding antibody, there is no color change, we can simply say that that antibody is not specific for that particular viral antigen. So therefore, he is HIV negative. And in ELISA, we have different kinds. We have the direct ELISA, we have indirect ELISA, we have the sandwich ELISA. Here you can see this is a best example for sandwich ELISA, because the antigen is sandwiched between two antibodies. So therefore it is known as sandwich ELISA. Either we can use antigen on the surface of the titer well as an analyte, or we can use antibodies on the base of the titer well as an analyte. So both the cases are possible, but we mostly use antibodies as analyte. Now, the best application of immunoassay is a rapid immunoassay. The rapid stands for the time taken to get the result of the assay. And the best example for rapid immunoassay is the pregnancy detection at home. Most of you would have seen this pregnancy detection kit, which can be used by females to detect whether they are pregnant or not. So here the assay is not done in any sort of micro titer plates, and it is called rapid because of the instant result it gives. And the best example is home pregnancy test, where the marker for pregnancy is the HCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropin. So if HCG is present in urine, then it is, the person is said to be pregnant, so positive results. If HCG is absent in urine, then the test result is negative. So here we use a lateral flow test, where the sample is placed in the well. So here you can see there's a well in the pregnancy detection kit. So there's a well where we place the sample. What is the sample used for pregnancy detection? It is mostly urine, and it is made to flow laterally. So once the sample flows laterally, now we get the indication lines. If at all, if you are getting two pink lines, then the person is pregnant. If at all there's only one single pink line, then the person is not pregnant. So these rapid tests can be read immediately. They are faster than the micro titer plate assay, and they require little sample. So hardly 3 or 4 drops of urine is enough to get the result. They are very cheap. They generate yes or no answers without using any instrument, and it can be used outside the laboratory for detection purposes, for detecting the whole samples. So here in the image you can see there are 2 pink lines, which means the person is pregnant. And what happens is, here the urine sample is placed in the well and it is made to pass through. So one, we have the control line, which always has to turn pink, which is indicative that the binding has to happen. If there is no pink line at all, then the assay itself is wrong, or there is defect in the assay. So if at all, if you are getting 2 pink lines, here also pink, here also pink, then the person is pregnant. Here in case of a non-pregnant person, this line will not turn pink and it remains plain, whereas the control line is pink, which means to say it is non-pregnant case. And you can see that HCG is bound. So HCG is the antibody which is used. Anti-HCG antibodies are used for detection. Now moving on to the application, this immunoassay methods have been widely used in many important areas of analysis, mostly in diagnosing the diseases. Say for example, detection of HIV. Then pregnancy detection kit. In the last slide we learned how HCG is used as a marker for detection of pregnancy. Then it is used in therapeutic drug monitoring. It is used in clinical pharmacokinetics, bioequivalent studies in drug discovery in pharmaceutical industry, and in anti-doping analysis in athletes for agents like recombinant human growth hormone. So we would have seen many instances of athletes who take drugs or some compounds which can boost their growth. So in that cases also it can be detected. So this is known as anti-doping analysis. If at all, if they've used any recombinant human growth hormone to boost their performance, so that can also be detected. So these are some of the applications. To summarize, this immunoassay is a biochemical test that measures the presence or concentration of a molecule in a solution through the use of an antibody or antigen. These immunoassays are based on the ability of an antibody to recognize and bind a specific macromolecule. Immunoassays are widely used in diagnosis of diseases and also in pregnancy detection kits. Thank you for watching.